Hello, thank you for joining me. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope everything is well with you and your families and your friends. Welcome to Pick a Card, Pick a Deck. And again, I've got three decks for you there. So, this is deck number one, deck number two, deck number three. So, once you've made your selection, and then we'll start picking a card for you. So, let's move them over. I'll also pick a card from Messages from Mother Earth with each one as well. Okay, so deck number one, let's just give this a quick shuffle. This is Lisa Parker's Tarot Familiars. I will leave the link underneath as well, so if you want to see more of this deck, just click on the link below. Alright, so let's have a look at what card comes out for you. Okay, so for people who chose number one, your card today is the Ace of Swords. Okay, it's quite a nice card. Okay, well, the Swords is always new beginnings. The sword, sorry, I should say the Ace is always new beginnings. Swords represents the intellect, the way you think, your thought processes, your the way you learn things as well. So it could be that some of you are embarking on a new course of study. Maybe you're learning how to do something new, especially with all the lockdowns that have been happening. I think people are changing jobs, people are trying things out for themselves, and sometimes you need to learn a new task, a new craft, some kind of new information that you need to continue with your new project. So this is something new that's starting, but it's going to be using your mind and your intellect. It can also be a new way of thinking for you, because we all need to think positively, and we all need to manifest the positive, not the negative. So there's a lot of things at the moment, especially on social media as well, about thinking about what you want from the future rather than what you don't want, keeping the positive in your mind. And so this could be maybe you starting to have a new mindset, a new positive, optimistic mindset in your own life. Number ones, it's news coming to you as well. The Raven always brings news. He's a messenger, or she or he is a messenger. And this will be news coming to you, I would say, within 3 weeks, because you've got the 3 stars there. This is, I can see purple there as well, so I would say amethyst is quite important to you with looking at this card as well. The stone amethyst is very good for opening your third eye chakra. It's very good for psychic abilities, and it's also a stone that's very good for helping people to lose addictions, and also for pain. I often tell people to keep a piece of amethyst in their first aid box, because if you have any pain, you're feeling any pain, you just rub the amethyst just around clockwise. I'll show you with that. Just rub it clockwise around the painful area, and it's really good for lifting pain. And in case you're wondering, this is my little snow quartz angel. Snow quartz, white quartz, it's sometimes called as well. Okay, so yeah, amethyst, I'm picking up on there as well for you, those of you who picked number one. Because this is also the thoughts, swords can also be quite aggressive at times. So I'd say as well, this card is also telling you to have a bit more patience with people. Don't fly off the handle if somebody's got a different opinion, or if somebody does something that you don't particularly like. Try and have a bit more patience with them. And people are under a lot of pressure nowadays, aren't they? Everybody has been, I think, with all the things that have been going on. And we just need to be a little bit more patient, calm, tolerant of people. And that goes towards ourselves as well. And I think that's what I've noticed as well is a lot of people being critical of themselves as well as with other people. So if you find yourself doing that as well, number ones, try to just stand back a little bit and just take your time. You know, there's no pressure to get things done straight away, unless you're on a deadline, obviously, but then you just focus to the task in hand to get it done. Once it's done, it's out the way. But other things, though, things that aren't that important, just take a step back and just don't worry about it. And just be patient with yourself. If you need to take some time out, then do it. You know, just go and sit in the garden. Just have a sit down in the living room or something, and maybe meditate. Maybe just sit and just relax with your own thoughts for a bit. You know, even without meditating, you can just sit quietly somewhere. If you want to read a book, just go and read a book. Just don't be feeling guilty about it. Don't judge yourself too harshly, because sometimes we all need to take time out and we all need to recharge our batteries. And as well as being a card of thinking and thoughts and the intellect, as I said before, this is also a card showing determination. So those of you who chose card number one, you're quite determined people, and you've got maybe something on the go at the moment that you need to finish. This card is saying you'll get there, you'll manage to finish it, you'll achieve that goal that you've set yourself. So again, don't be too hard on yourself if you've had a few pitfalls or had a few obstacles in your path recently. Everybody has. These things are always sent to teach us lessons and to show us how strong we are. But as I say, the Ravens are bringing you a messenger soon, and a message soon. The messenger is bringing you a message, and as I said, I reckon that's within 3 weeks. So whether it's something new you're starting or whether it's something that you're about to finish, that's a message for you, and I reckon it's going to be quite a good message as well. Okay, so that's for card number one, for those of you who chose number one. Let me just pick you a card from Mother Earth, or a message from Mother Earth as well. Okay, it's got one throwing itself out. Okay, Aquamarine, slip through life, don't grip through life. Deep relaxation allows you to surrender into a natural buoyancy and float along the river of life. A calm, cool, serene energy that offers reassurance. All is well with the world. Okay, Aquamarine, there you go. And as I said, if you need time out, if you need time to relax, gives you time to surrender into a natural buoyancy and float along the river of life. Be patient, calm, cool, serene energy that offers reassurance. All is well with the world. Be positive, optimistic. There you go. Isn't that a card that just matches the Ace of Swords for you there? Very apt, I would say. Okay, so that's for cards, people who chose card number one. Okay, and as I said, I'll leave the link for Lisa Parker's Tarot Familiars down the bottom. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you next week, those of you who chose number one. So enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye for now. And so people who chose card number two, this one is for you. Okay, here I'm using Le Tarot de Marseille. Alright, and we have Roy de Coupe. Roy de Coupe. This is King of Cups. Okay, so let's have a look at him. Right, so what I'm picking up from this card for those of you who chose number two, this is a person who is quite empathic, sensitive to the feelings of other people, possibly quite a psychic person as well. So those of you who pick this card, maybe you're people who also read the tarot yourself and possibly see things yourself. Maybe you use a pendulum, speak to mediums. Oh dear, start again. Speak to spirits like a medium, I should say. Yeah, we can all speak to mediums, can't we? We all know one or several. Yeah, so he's holding there, as you can see, he's holding a nice chalice. It's got a lid on it. So these are you are people who can keep a lid on your emotions when you need to. You can sit on them. You can put the lid on them. You know when to speak. You know when to keep quiet. You know when to show your emotions, and you know when to stand back and be objective. The blue colour there is quite a spiritual colour. The red is a very active colour like Mars. It's the energy, the activity of Mars. And then you've got the yellow of divinity, yellow of the sun in that card as well. So what we've got here is quite an active person, but somebody active in a spiritual sense, not necessarily religious. This is people who have their own beliefs. So those of you who chose this card, you're people who've got your own set of beliefs, your own set of morals and ethics that you stick by quite almost religiously in a way. Oh, my apologies for that slight technical error because the camera fell down. Oh well, there you go. Right, so where was I? Yeah, you're sensitive people, empathic, probably psychic. Could also be professional people in a way as well. This card often comes up when you're talking about people like doctors and lawyers and people like that, very professional people. Or maybe you're actually thinking about going to see a professional person in the near future. Maybe you've got a doctor's visit, maybe you're going to see a lawyer, um, or any other kind of professional person that you may need to go and visit, going to consult, like a financial consultant. It could be anybody like that that you're going to see in the near future. What I'm picking up as well with this card, number twos, is that sometimes you can be a bit over generous with other people. Sometimes you need to stand back. Just take a look. A lot of people can actually do things themselves. It's all very well to try and help out and be kind and generous, but sometimes people can take advantage. So when a person starts expecting you to do everything for them, and you can clearly see that they are very capable of doing it for themselves, don't be afraid of saying no. Sometimes people just need that push to get up and do it themselves rather than depend on other people all the time, because being dependent on other people constantly when you don't need to, it is actually very detrimental to that person. So if it's somebody that's very capable of doing something themselves and they start asking you to do things for them, or you find yourself offering to do something for somebody constantly, just take a look. Are they putting you in that position where you feel that you have to offer? Because some people have a habit of doing that. They can manipulate people quite easily. That's something for you to have a look at. And as I say, if you find that you are in that position, just don't be afraid to say no. Just stand back. Sometimes people need to do things themselves. And yeah, I was talking about the colours of the card as well when I, before the camera decided to have a problem. Right, so yep, the red is the activity of Mars, the blue is spiritual. So you've got the active spiritual side of you coming out there, linked to the divinity. Say it's not necessarily religious. There's a lot of people who have their own beliefs. I don't follow any particular religion. I'm one of them myself, but I've got my own set of beliefs, ethics, morals that I stand by, that I've thought about a long time. Some of them have been with me since childhood, and I think you're that type of person as well. Number two, you've got your own set of beliefs that you can stick to rigidly, and you're not bothered about what other people think, because these beliefs are in your heart, and once they're in your heart, that's where they stay. Right, so let me just pick a message from Mother Earth for you as well. So for number twos, let's just see what comes out here. Okay, we've got black tourmaline. Fears are illusions of the mind. Stand still, relax, and unwind. Okay, a contracting vortex of energy that will instantly stabilize the aura and relax your mind into reality. Exceptionally effective to neutralize anxiety, fear, and unproductive thought forms. Okay, so this is basically saying that you need some black tourmaline as well at the moment. So it stabilizes your aura, your energies, relaxes your mind. Black tourmaline as well, I always find it very good for um, like putting a shield around you, especially when you're near people who can drain your energy, or people who are quite negative energetically. Because if you're an empath, if you're very sensitive to energies from other people, that's something that can actually start draining you and can start being quite bad for you. And I find black tourmaline is quite good for putting that shield around to protect you against that negative energy and against people trying to drain you. It's quite a grounding stone as well, and I think psychic people do need to be grounded quite often. Sometimes if you're not grounded, you can be up in the clouds, and you go off to all kinds of dimensions, weird and wonderful ones. Try and keep yourself grounded at all times. But those are for card number two anyway. Those of you who chose card number two, thank you for joining me. Leave your comments in the section below and tell me what you think. Okay, and I'll catch you next week. Thanks for joining me this week. Catch you next week. Bye bye. Okay, so for those of you who chose card number three, I'm using here the Ancient Egyptian Tarot by Clive Barrett. Okay, so let's just see what we get here. Okay, we have got the Two of Discs. Now, that's not a bad card to have, is it? So, Two of Discs. Okay, people who chose card number three. So, sometimes you're juggling things quite a bit, because Two of Discs often, it's the, I think they've got like tambourines there, aren't they? But you often see a juggler in some decks, juggling the pentacles up and down. So this is needing to get time between work and personal, social, and work balance. It's time to get a balance between other areas of your life as well, family and friends. work and family, work and friends. You might be burning the candle at both ends just lately. Maybe there's been a lot of pressure on you at work, or a lot of pressure on you by the family, and other areas of your life are suffering. So this card is telling you to try and start getting a little bit of a balance. If you haven't been away for a while, I know travel is abroad especially is very difficult at the moment, but there's so many places in this country that are so nice and out in the countryside, and sometimes just being out in nature can actually give you that relaxation, that time to actually recharge your batteries, that I think sometimes that you need. Number three, especially if you're juggling things around all the time. Um, and the discs can also indicate finances, so this can be an indication that you're juggling finances a lot as well at the moment. And again, a lot of people are finding it difficult because of the lockdowns, being on furlough. A lot of people have lost their jobs. Um, Prices have gone up in the shops, so people are finding it tough. And of course, they were doing these silly things saying that people can have a break from paying the mortgage and the rent, but it wasn't really a break. All they did was take a couple of months and then bung it on to the next few months for you. So a lot of people are suffering with that at the moment as well. It's not, it isn't permanent, right? Because these things, as I say, this is known as a juggler. This card is often called a juggler. Um, Things go up and things go down, so this is not a permanent situation. It's something that you need to be a little bit patient with. Just be careful, especially if it's money, and that don't spend money on things that you don't need. Um, with work, if you're doing a lot of overtime, don't be afraid to say no. They can't force you to do overtime, unless of course you've signed a contract to say that you'll do so many hours overtime. But if they're trying to force you to do extra, then again, don't be afraid to say no. You still have rights, okay? And your contractual hours are those hours that you said that you will do. If they're trying to force you to do extra, they can't. It's against the law. They're breaking their contract. Right, if you haven't seen your friends and family for a while, now is the time to start getting in touch with them, start making plans to go and see them. Don't be afraid to go and see them. Family is extremely important, friends are important, we need people in our lives. And I know people are being frightened with this alleged disease that's going around at the moment. But the thing is, we can't live our lives in fear. Alright, so if you've got family and friends and you're not seeing them because you don't want to pass anything on to them, or they don't want to pass anything on to you, or you are living your life in fear. If anything happens to you, your friends, your family are going to be absolutely gutted that they haven't seen you. If anything happens to them, just imagine how you're going to feel if you haven't seen them for a while. So just look at what's more important. Is it the contact with your family and friends, or is it living in fear? Okay, so that's something that you need to have a think about anyway. Alright, so let me just have a look what else we've got in this card, because as I said, this is the ancient Egyptian deck that I'm using here. So we've got these statues here that's sort of standing out quite a bit. And I think that goes back to what I said about being patient with things, because sometimes we can get a little bit too impatient. We want things straight away. If we start a project, we want it finished straight away. We want to be successful straight away. We want our artwork done straight away. We want our cooking done straight away. You know, we're very impatient people. So those statues there are telling you to stand back, be a little bit, what was the word, subjective, objective, stand back, just look at things from the outside, and that will actually help you overcome problems as well when you do that. So if you have got any obstacles in your way at the moment, things that you need answers to, then just stand back and look at things objectively, as if you're looking at that problem from someone outside the family who is not affected by it. Look at it that way. So if you were seeing, if another person came to you with that problem and you were going to give them advice, what would you say to that other person? Right, and then take your own advice. Okay, so what else have we got here? They're sort of inside, aren't they? Sort of hiding from the sun. You can just about see the sun up there. I think she's just about to go into the sun. Yeah, just enjoy the sun while you can, because the sun's not going to be with us that very long. We're going to be having some rain soon. There's been floods and landslides, mudslides, and all sorts around the world, and I reckon that the UK is the next one to get it. So enjoy the sun while you can. Also, those things that they're carrying, they look like tambourines, don't they? Drums or tambourines. And drums, I always think, and when you've got a nice drum beat, it can actually be like your heart beating. And discs, the pentacles discs, also relate to the physical body. So those people there are walking barefoot. That's a signal to ground yourself. Walk barefoot outside on the grass, on the concrete, just to ground yourself. If you can't do that, then you can get some grounding stones, such as the black or red stones. They're very good for grounding. And looking at that, also music, if that's a drum beat, get some really nice music on, something nice and slow and soothing, calming, especially in the heat. Now, if you're suffering with heat at the moment, just put something nice and soothing on, and just sit still for a bit and just relax and just enjoy that little bit of music, and you don't even need to meditate. Just go off into your own thoughts and just relax. Take a bit of time out for a change. But it's to do with the physical body as well, this card. So if you're thinking on embarking on a new exercise regime, now's the time to do it. If you're thinking embarking on a new diet regime, now's the time to do it. When I say diet, I don't mean giving up your food or going on a crash diet or something like that, because I really don't. I really don't go for those. You end up putting on more weight than what you lose. So, and you end up getting stressed out. And stress produces a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol, produced by stress, it also puts on weight. So there's no point in getting stressed out about your food. But a good diet of fresh, healthy vegetables and fruit, especially organic, get rid of the pesticides, then you can't go wrong. Okay, so Exercise as well. What I'm picking up here, number three, is that if you're not used to doing exercise, maybe just start slow. A bit of walking is really good, very beneficial. You can be away with your thoughts. You can go walking in nature, be at one with nature. You can walk barefoot and ground yourself. You can, um, well, as I say, walking is very good for the muscles in your legs, especially, and your hips. And you can walk slowly, you can walk casually, you can walk fast. It's a very nice exercise to get you started if you haven't exercised for a while or if you're not used to exercise. Okay, so that's card for number three. I'm going to pick you a message from Mother Earth as well. So let's have a look what's here. Right, we have Sugar Light. Okay, there is no better tuition than your own intuition. Sugar light quietens the mind and connects the inquirer to the body intelligence. This will then deliver an understanding of any illness and how to restore health and harmony. An all-knowing little gem that has been revered for its ability to promote cell renewal and regeneration even in severe cases. There you go. Interesting. So I said this was for the physical body as well. So if you're not feeling too good, if you're not feeling too well, then just bear in mind the stone Sugar Light. If you have some Sugar Light yourself, carry it around with you. If you don't, just keep it in mind. That's what it looks like there. It's like a reddy purple maroon colour. Okay, so as I say, it'll help you quieten the mind, connects the inquirer to the body intelligence. So it helps you get in touch with what's going on in your own body. It delivers an understanding of any illness and how to restore health and harmony. So if you are feeling a bit under the weather, Sugar Light will actually help you get in touch with your own body to pick up what it is that's wrong. And a lot of the time, it is just that we need to take our time out, recharge our batteries, and get a balance, a life work balance. A lot of the time, that is what's all that's needed. Okay, but yeah, keep that in mind then. Sugar Light. So that's for those of you who chose card number three. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, and thank you for joining me, cards number three is, and what I'll do, I'll catch you next week. So take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye then.